G'day folks, I am currently at Sydney Terminal on platform 13. It's almost like I live on these platforms. We're currently waiting for an Oscar to come in. Now the purpose for this video is that the Oscars are getting a major refurb, a new livery, and they are going to become a suburban train. Now the purpose of being here necessarily is because there is an Oscar that's going to be coming in to platform 13 very shortly from the south coast. This Oscar has the usual City Rail livery or original livery, whatever you want to call it, the blue and yellow. And just going to have a bit of a look at that and a walk through this train. And also this video will feature some photos and video footage kindly supplied of the Oscar's new livery sets H22 and 23, and also just some of their B-roll footage of the inside of it, showing a few bits and pieces. And while I'm showing you that footage, we'll go through those changes. But first off, we'll film this Oscar coming in, then you'll see the footage of the new livery, and I'll do a voiceover while that footage is playing. And then after that footage, we'll do a slow walk through the Oscar, just sort of just for the heck of it, because things are going to be changing very soon. So sit back and enjoy. All right, here comes that Oscar. 8 cars.
The train on platform 13 ends here. Please do not get on this train. The train on platform 13 goes to Bomaderry. First stop Helensburgh, then Thirroul, North Wollongong, Coniston, Unanderra, Dapto, Albion Park, Oak Flats, Shell Harbour Junction, Minamurra, Bombo and Kiama. Then change for Gerringong, Berry, Bomaderry.
Okay, so this is the B-roll footage that was kindly supplied. In this footage, you'll see the reupholstered seats that are looking quite good. There's new flooring that sort of matches the sort of grainy pattern on the Waratah flooring, which makes the carriage look cleaner, brighter, and just overall great. So the interior, although everything's the same colour in the interior, apart from the flooring, it's just got a major refresh. The livery on the front strongly resembles a B-set Series 2 Waratah. You have the doors, which are more of a Sydney Trains orange colour instead of yellow, which actually stands out quite good. I actually saw one of these sets from a distance when I was passing Auburn. So yeah, it looks really good, and this is definitely a much needed upgrade for the Oscar fleet. The livery looks a lot better than the blue and yellow as well. Over the years, apart from the fading and everything like that, the blue and yellow on the Oscars just sort of looks a bit, I don't know, looks a bit dull. But no, this livery is really good. So these trains will be becoming a suburban train. So basically what's going to happen is that these new suburban Oscars, I guess you could say, when they start doing suburban running, these Oscars will replace some of the Waratah trains on the T1 and T9 lines, and those Waratahs will then go on to replace K-sets, and those K-sets will then go out of service and ultimately be scrapped. Hopefully there will be a K-set or two that's preserved, but you never know. So there are currently 2 sets with this new livery. Oscar sets H22 and H23. As you can see here, the difference between the old and the new livery. The new, in my opinion, is a lot better. The only thing, and I'll probably repeat some of this in a bit later in the video when we walk through the other Oscar, but the only thing that I sort of don't like about the new livery is the blue up the top around the desto. However, that is, I don't know, I guess it's unavoidable because it's not as easy as just painting it, I guess. I suppose you have to take the glass off and a lot of fidgeting around and things like that. However, it's not completely finished yet. I'm not sure if there's going to be any kind of orange or whatever on the side of the train, kind of like what you have on the both Series 1 and Series 2 Waratahs, how you have, especially the A-sets, how you have that sort of crescent moon, you know what I mean, that sort of semicircle sort of orange shape around the crew compartment on the side. Not sure if anything's going to change with that, but yeah, anyway, that's all I can show you with this. But what we'll do now is we'll have a walk through an Oscar that doesn't have this new livery and doesn't have any of this freshness to it. It's a refurb, and we'll just point out a few things that are going to be changing with them and everything like that. So here we go. All right, so these sets are H8 and H30. H30, fun fact, is the last of the first batch of Oscars, and the other batch of Oscars were H31 to 55. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a walk through the train, then we're going to look on the outside, just for a memory thing, because obviously they're not going to be looking like this for too long. I made the mistake of not doing this with the V sets when they were in that Kiama livery or City Rail livery or whatever you want to call it, the blue and yellow. So here we go, I'm going to walk through H30. Now, the Oscars are going to look largely the same inside. They're just going to look very fresh. The flooring's actually going to look different. By the looks of it, they're actually going to have similar flooring to the Waratahs. The screens are actually already being changed now. So you've got the new style screens instead of the dot matrix or whatever you want to call it. This is pretty much everything you sort of saw in the in that sort of B-roll footage that was sent to me that I was allowed to use. The seats are going to be reupholstered. They're going to be looking very, very fresh. The inside's got a massive cleanup. So the purpose of walking through this Oscar now is just to just show you what it's like in its, well, I can't really say poor state. I was actually kind of hoping for an Oscar that's looking crappy. But but it's still, the seats when they're reupholstered and everything are going to look very bright blue with the yellow that you can see here. It's going to look absolutely great. As you could see in those photos and that footage that you saw before of the new livery, the car numbers are staying the same. Like they're not losing the O, so O being out of suburban, kind of like the Tangaras. The G sets had the OD, but when the G sets just became a suburban train, that's a normal suburban T set, they lost the O. One thing that as well that I've been asked quite a bit is if the toilets will be removed, and that also I don't know. So this is ON 5930. See, I mean, this Oscar's actually looking quite clean. This is actually looking quite, not too bad. Apart from the multicolored lights here. I suppose that's another thing that'll be getting an upgrade, will be the lighting. You won't have things like this. But Oscars, in my videos with Oscars, I mean, I guess I've never really said ultra positive things about them, but in all fairness, they're not a bad train. I just don't think they're really good for outer suburban running. They're not that comfortable for outer suburban running, but So things like this, the seats are really wearing out there, so it's all going to be reupholstered. It's going to be all pretty much as good as new. Seats kind of look a bit small for this spot here. So what's happening with the Oscars is that Marion are replacing the Oscars have replaced the Oscars on the Central Coast and Newcastle line. and they'll then be replacing, the Mariangs will be replacing the Oscars on the South Coast line. Now, these Oscars, the ones that are going suburban, the one in the new orange B-set style livery, will actually be going on the T1 and T9 lines, and they'll be replacing the Waratahs on the T1 and T9 lines. And those Waratahs coming off the T1 and T9 lines will then in turn be going to replace the K-sets on their respected line. So, yeah. So the new suburbanized, if that's even a word, the new suburbanized Oscars will replace some Waratahs in the T1 and 9, and those Waratahs will then go on to the T2, 3 and 8, I guess, whichever lines the K-sets run, to replace the K-sets. So that's what's happening. But yeah, Oscars being, or soon will be, a suburban train, I think will look pretty good. So I think the new flooring that the Oscars are going to get, actually, funnily enough, I think might be this kind of flooring here. So this kind of Waratah style grainy sort of look, which is pretty good, because that's it'll make them look brighter. So yeah, this is the toilet car, so ONL 5980. The gangways are also getting a bit of a refresh. They'll look the same, just ultra clean. This is the last car of H30 to OD 6961. But yeah, this Oscar actually doesn't look too bad. It really doesn't look too bad. But after this massive refurb, they're going to look a lot better. And with the whole quiet carriage thing, well, there'll be pretty much no use for that, I'd imagine. Because there won't be an outer suburban train. But yes, I'm quite looking forward to catching the Oscars on the T1 and T9. But what we're going to do now is have a look on the outside of the train, except that crap spray painted there. So apart from the front looking like they'll be looking like a B set. Apart from that, the doors, as you saw before, will be painted more of an orange colour, like a Sydney Trains orange colour. You'll have the transport branding here between the decks on each carriage, and I'm not too sure what branding they'll use above the car numbers, because now you've got the New South Wales Trainlink branding. Not sure if they'll have the Sydney Trains logo or the government Waratah logo and the HOP transport thing. Not too sure how that's going to really work, but yeah. But I think this is really good. The Oscar, I've seen in person one of these refurbished sets when I've passed Auburn on the train. It sticks out. It's bright. It's good. It looks great. It's much needed because, as I said, this Oscar, it doesn't look too bad, but a lot of the others are looking run down. They're looking faded, and yeah. And in general, my personal opinion, I do like the sort of Sydney Trains orange B-set style livery a lot more than this blue and yellow. But there's only, with the new livery, there's one thing that I'll diss with it, and I don't know if it's something that's going to change or whatever, and it's not a big deal. It really is not a big deal. If you would have noticed that with the new livery up here, all up here around where the desto and the lights are is still blue. Not sure if that's something that's going to change or if it's something that can be easily changed, because that is glass up there. So yeah, having to remove that and tinker around with that'll be a bit of a thing. So either way, that's my only diss with it. But then again, it's not a massive deal. I think the new livery still looks amazing anyway, and definitely can't wait to be riding these trains. So again, I've said it twice already, but a recap of what's going to be happening and why these trains are getting a refurb and new livery. Well, it's a midlife refurb. These trains are almost 20 years old. The oldest of these trains are actually almost 20 years old. They entered service in, my mind's gone blank, about 05, 06. So yeah, nearing that 20-year mark. So it's like a sort of like a midlife refurb, major refurb, new livery. And so they'll be becoming a suburban train, because these are actually an outer suburban train. So Oscar actually stands for outer suburban cars. Excuse me. So Marion will replace the remaining Oscars on the South Coast line. They've already replaced them all on the Central Coast Newcastle line, apart from the North Shore runs, which will stay as they are. So those Oscars that become suburban will then go onto running on the T1 and T9 lines and replace some of the Waratahs there, and those Waratahs will then go on to the runs that K-sets currently run, which means K-sets will be retired and scrapped. But anyway, that's what's happening here. So that's all for this video. I'm not going to wait for this to leave. It's got over an hour. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the video, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you very soon. Goodbye for now.